Hello, Terry here. What I wanted to talk to you about today is the way that common words are used in differently depending on the circumstances that are being used. For example, if you look at the word Christmas tree, normal Christmas tree, think of a thing you celebrate around the end of December. Use it to celebrate Christmas. It has ornaments on it and tinsel and lights, etc., and looks rather nice. However, in the oil industry, there's the word Christmas tree is used for a bunch of valves and pipes, etc. And you could look it up in like Wikipedia or something to find out what, if indeed that's true, and actually see pictures of them. Now, I am going to talk about the word theory, but before I talk about that, I want to talk about the word gutter. Now, gutter is a very common word, and two common usages that I can think of would be, you have a gutter around a house. Directs rainwater and wastewater off the roof of the house into some place where it doesn't cause much damage to your property. And you also have a gutter in a street, which also directs wastewater, rainwater, etc., away from the properties involved, etc. Okay, and even a phrase like "this guy has his mind in the gutter" refers to a gutter in a street. Now, there's another word meaning for the word gutter. At least there's one more, and that's in the print industry. Now, if you have a book here. I have a few books here, and let's just look at a typical page, and hopefully that will focus a little bit. You can see where the margins are, where the writing begins and where it ends, or when it begins and where it ends, where it begins and where it ends, and that's where the margins are. But there's something else you have to consider, and that is each book has a binding. And you have to allow for the distance between the back of the page and where you can actually start reading, where the margin is. And that's called the gutter. Here's an illustration. Here's a little spiral-bound notebook, and there are serrations where the blue lines are, and that's basically the gutter. From here to here, here to here. Edge of the page to where that blue line is. And here's a serration. I'm not sure if you can see it, not that it really matters. And it might focus better there. Anyway, and that is called the gutter. Now, the question is, am I telling you the truth? And are there any other uses for the term gutter in terms of printing? One, you might already know. B, how would you find out? Would you go to your local hardware store and say, take a book like this and say, is this a gutter? Well, the person that you're talking to might actually know whether that is a gutter, but they would sort of wonder why you're in a hardware store asking about this. Same thing, you see some construction crew at the side of the road fixing a drainage ditch or something like that, and you park your car and jump out and run across traffic, etc., and say, is this a gutter? They'd probably think you're a little bit crazy, because it's really an inappropriate place to ask about printing. Where would you ask? Well, you might, like I said, you might actually know, or you could go to a print shop, or you could look online, do a search for printing gutter definition, etc., and you could see, A, if there actually is something in printing that's called a gutter, and if I'm actually saying what it is, or if there's any other definitions, etc. So that would be appropriate, wouldn't it? It would not be appropriate to go to different locations, different things like a hardware store and ask about gutter. Now, like I said, I brought a bunch of books, and here's one book. That's Elements of Number Theory by Van de Graaff. And this is Algebraic Number Theory by Weiss, or Weiss. I'm not sure if it's German pronunciation or not. Edward Weiss, W-E-I-S-S. This book is by Monk, Introduction to Set Theory. And my last little book that I brought today is, of course, Koblitz, A Course in Number Theory and Cryptology. Now, all those books have the word theory in the title. Most of them about number theory, but you have set theory, and there are a lot of things in mathematics with the word theory, like catastrophe theory, major theory, chaos theory. I have the word theory in them. Now, the common usage of the word theory is like an educated guess. Like, I have a theory why there aren't a lot of people working today. Actually, I really don't, but I'm sort of wondering why, because I had to drive through them to get here. But anyway, you can have a theory like that, just sort of an educated guess. But these books, like Introduction to Set Theory, there's a lot of people that have heard about set theory before. And you know a bit about it, Venn diagrams, etc. And it's not really a bunch of educated guess, it's compilation of knowledge about a particular subject, in this case, set theory. And in this case, number theory and cryptology. And cryptology is something very, very important in today's culture, because without it, your ATM machine would be a little bit harder to use. Now, I found a definition of theory. It's an informal definition. It was on Wikipedia, and I'll give a link to it. Matter of fact, I printed this out a little bit. I know I killed a tree, I'm sorry. Okay. The term theory is used informally within mathematics to mean a self-consistent body of definitions, axioms, theorems, examples, and so on. Examples include group theory, Galois theory, control theory, and K-theory. And a few other ones I mentioned, like major theory, chaos theory, catastrophe theory. So, that's what theory means in mathematics, or at least that's what the Wikipedia thing says, and that's actually very similar to my definition, And you could actually look it up. I would really wish you would, to make sure that I'm telling the truth. Anything I say, we should look it up, because I could be lying. I have lied in the past. And that can be a true statement, maybe. It's not always true. That's an interesting logical thing. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. Now, what about the definition of theory in the scientific sense, like theory of gravity, theory of the Big Bang theory, theory of evolution, which are entirely separate, has nothing to do with the Big Bang, cell theory of biology, etc.? What does the word theory mean there? Is it the common thing where it's just a lucky guess, or just a whim or something? Or is it something that involves, or it's closer to the mathematical definition? Well, it's probably not the same thing as the mathematical definition. It's probably not just a guess, a whim or something. What I'd like you to, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to tell you, because I would just have to look it up the same way that you would. So here's your homework assignment, which I'm not going to grade because I don't grade papers anymore. What I'd like you to do is look up the word scientific theory, and you're finding it in the dictionary, or what would be better is going to some sort of website, scientific website, and look up there. And I'm not going to give any links, because that's your job to find out how to look things up too. And I want you to look up scientific theory and see what the definition is there, and see if it conforms with the way that you're using the word theory scientifically. And this is Terry, and I wish everybody a great day and have good luck. Thank you. Bye.